This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Iowa. I'm here with Carlson Financial. Since 2022, she has provided a proven process with the tools and guidance required for your financial situation while partnering together to achieve your shared financial vision. I'm joined here with the owner, financial coach, Angie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Gary. Happy to be here.
Let's start off a little bit about yourself. Really, at an early age, you were fascinated with money. After 2 decades of experience in the financial sector, you set out to embrace really your life calling, which is coaching. Along with your husband, you are a product of your own system. You now have been Local Business Person of the Year on Alignable. You have created the Agree and Achieve method. Share with me a little bit how this finance has been such a big part of your passion when it comes to helping others.
Yeah, absolutely. My husband and I, we had always talked about our money. We had always done a budget, but it felt like we were making absolutely zero progress. And that was really concerning and frustrating because we were following all the rules, all the programs, doing everything that everyone said we should do, except we weren't seeing the result. And so that just got really frustrating. We were struggling with our money. And then in 2017, we decided to take Financial Peace University. And for us, that really unlocked a different way for us to have money conversations. And once we started to shift the focus from looking at the numbers to looking at the conversations and the life we wanted to live, we went from being in debt to paying off our house in just under 6 years. And it was a game changer. It changed our relationship. It changed our life. It changed the life of our kids. And I can't imagine now not teaching others how to do it.
Wow, that is fantastic. Personal story. Really, this began back in 2017. Educating yourself took you a while to actually jump in and say, let's do this full time. This is what I want to do. Let's face it. The topic of money, it's an emotional one. Why does money remain to be an almost taboo topic today? A taboo topic in our society today, would you say?
I would say it absolutely is a taboo topic. And it's not taboo because of money itself. Money is a tool like a hammer. The reason it's so taboo is we have so many stories attached to our money because growing up as a child, we may not have used money until maybe our teenage years, but we remember the financial stress at home, our parents talking about if they had enough or not enough, looking under the Christmas tree and seeing the presents, hearing that kid at school who got that Nintendo while we got a sweater. And all these stories stay with us. We didn't ask to have them, but they have shaped our views on money. And that's why, to me, it's such a taboo topic.
I believe that very true. While most couples find themselves compatible, really, in many areas, is finance an area that differences or even silence can cause maybe some real stress on that relationship?
Oh, absolutely. It can cause stress and tension. And that's even if you two are very close to being on the same page. Because once again, it's back to the experiences and what we saw. And I'll just use my relationship as an example. I married a wonderful man. My husband and I were raised in 2 very different households. My parents were married 2 days shy of 48 years. He watched his parents get divorced. And so even growing up with those dynamics, we both saw very different views and very different opinions on money. And what we learned is that we see things in very different ways. And we used to think that was a setback. It's actually one of our greatest strengths because he can bring in some perspectives I would have never thought of. And I trust him that he's now bringing this up for the greater good of our relationship instead of using it to prove me wrong.
Is it common to find couples that can talk about anything except maybe their money? Do you help them realize they're not alone?
Oh, absolutely. They're totally not alone. And it is very common to find couples talk about everything but their money because it's easy to talk about our daughter in ballet, our kids in soccer, and what they're doing at school, what colleges they're going to. But we don't take back the curtain and really see, okay, how are we making all this work? Are we paying cash for all this stuff? Are we taking on a bunch of debt that we go home and we feel like we can't breathe? And so there's definitely a lot of stress, and no wonder it's hard to talk about. So the last thing you want to do is bring up stress.
Yeah, I believe that. It's definitely stressful for couples, and that couples that tackle this issue alone, many times they experience money conversations where so much is said and yet nothing changes, or maybe spending hours on the budget and the only result is it's still not working for us. Is this where an outside professional, someone who has personally been there and done that, like yourself, is this really where you come in?
Absolutely, it's where I come in because we get so used to looking at our numbers the same way. It's kind of like our morning routine. We can't imagine that without our cup of coffee. But you know what happens if we get that phone call and it's 5 a.m. and someone's being rushed to the hospital? I promise you, you don't care about your coffee. You promise about getting there ASAP. And the system almost needs that level of shock to know, like, hey, there's a different way that we can do things to look at our money differently. Because when we look at the numbers in our budget and we track our spending, that's almost too late in the financial process because that's a reflection of the decisions we've made. And if we want to change the numbers, we need to change the decisions that have influenced the numbers.
I mean, before you provide your proven process, how important is it for you to really take the time to understand the needs and goals of your client? I mean, initially, is listening critical for what you do?
Listening is very critical to what I do. And another thing that I do that is very different than the average financial coach is I'm very active on my social media pages at Finance Coach AC, really showing people here are all the different ways that you're experiencing this problem and how it may be showing up in your relationship, because sometimes people don't recognize that they need the help. They've just been living in the same mode for years or decades, and they just think this is how it's going to be. And so I really use the social media to show them, hey, life could be different, plus the listening skills and a conversation to really open the mind to be, okay, maybe we can do things differently. Because if you come in and you don't think things are going to change, I can't help you.
I think this is so needed today. And not only for young couples, but we're talking couples that have been together for 30, 40 years, and they realize that that's a contention between them. I mean, once you know the goals, you then can work to develop those goals with each person you work with. Are both tools and guidance really what you bring to the table?
It's the tools and the guidance and how I think about the situations, because my thought process tends to be very different than anybody I know. And that helps me treat you like it's a prism. You have a color, it's here, and we just shift it maybe a slight percentage of a degree, but that's really the only shift that you need to see that things can be different, to see things from a new angle, to see, oh, that's why this hasn't been working. Because I show my clients how to fix things. I do not tell them how to fix things. So if they have their children in private school, I'm not going to come in and say, pull your child out of private school. I'm going to look at it and say, okay, if this is a priority for you and you two decide what your priorities are, how do we keep this priority while still reaching our goals? Because that's how you have a financial plan that you want to follow excitedly. That's how you're going to win.
A coach knows how to ask the right questions. And that's really what you're doing. I mean, be it financial consulting, budgeting, educating, or just simply saving money, does the money mindset really need to change? I mean, I imagine, like you said before, we all have many limiting beliefs that have shaped us throughout the years.
Yeah, it really is shifting how we look at it, because if we always think that we're bad with money, it doesn't matter how many financial facts I give you, you still believe that you're going to be bad with money. So really that belief, shifting that into showing you, here's actually all the ways you've been winning with money that you haven't even shared with yourself because you don't even see that you're winning, is incredibly powerful. Look at all the situations you've navigated and you've come out stronger on the other side. All of these are financial wins, but we tend to dismiss them because they're not in the budget. We can't see the ROI on a 401k statement. And there's so much more to winning than that. And when you have all of that in your financial picture, you see yourself as a relationship that's unstoppable.
They say knowledge is power, but really, knowledge is potential power. That's why we can read many books and still yet not move into an action mode. I mean, this is not a one size fits all. The This is really personalized. I mean, you really discover what's holding them back financially. Is it exciting for you to see some of those breakthroughs and aha moments from your clients?
It's the best part of the job. Like, I have the best job in the world to see couples come together that they have a small inkling that they can do it, but they're just not sure how. And when they have me as their guide, not only do they see the how, they get years of results in 6 months, or they make more financial progress than they ever thought were possible. And they're just stunned that one, they were able to do it, and two, it happened so quickly. And it's just because they had a person showing them, Here's how you can look at it differently, and let's try this to get a result. And if you don't want to try A, let's try B, or we can try C. And we collaborate on those solutions because this is a process you're involved in. I want my clients to fire me someday because they have the skills to go do it themselves.
Interesting. I think people will walk away from this interview even gaining this knowledge and educating themselves. I mean, so couples out there who are ready to upgrade their shared money skills and truly align their shared vision for their future, I mean, they really can learn more in a no-cost conversation with you. How do they set that up with you?
Yes, they set that up with me. They can message me on my social media on Facebook, Instagram, or Threads, and that handle is at Finance Coach AC, or they can send me an email at Angie@carlsonfinancialcoaching.com.
Great. I mean, most people out there understand that retirement can quickly approach, and many feel they have not done enough maybe to prepare. You say it's not too late, but why do we need to take action today? And the sooner the better.
I will say it's never too late. It's never too late. I have worked with a woman who was retired and taking care of an aging parent, and her biggest fear is she was going to be a bag lady on the street. And when we looked at her financial situation, which most financial advisors would not touch because she didn't have anything to invest, we went and looked at her spending and freed up $24,000 a year. To a retiree, that's a fortune. And it made such a difference in her life because now she didn't have the stress of if something happens, I'm on the street. Like that's life changing. And the reason that you want to start earlier is you don't want to be in retirement having those thoughts. You want to know that your retirement is taken care of. You don't want to sit here and think about which child you're going to ask to help pay for your retirement. Nobody wants to have that conversation either. And the sooner you start, it's easier. But even if you're in your 40s or your 50s and you're just getting started, it's not too late. Going into retirement with no debt and an emergency fund still sets you up better than if you had no retirement, no debt, and no emergency fund. So there's always things that we can do to get closer on the journey. And I'm happy and would be honored to be the person to help you.
Quite a blessing you are to people, quite honestly, because of the fact many of these consultants, they won't even work with you. Like you say, if you don't have money to invest or there's some kind of thing like that, you're basically showing people what they can do with their money they have right now as well. Angie, as an experienced professional with more than 20 years in the industry, you are living out the results of agree and achieve, and you want to help others to do the same. Is this rewarding work for you?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Like I go to work every day. I'm lit up. I love sharing about it. That's why I post on social media every day because I really want to help you and I want to serve you. And I can't imagine doing anything else with my life. This has been like the best job ever.
That is great. I'm very glad to introduce you to my viewers out there. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right now, and you can see her website. On the website, you can see all the services she provides. I mean, read the great testimonials on there as well. If you are ready to go from feeling financial stress and anxiety to feeling relaxed about your shared financial vision, definitely reach out today. Book a free consultation. That is Carlson Financial. Today is the day to stop settling for your current financial reality. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.